Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, March 2nd, 2025. Out of the sewer and into the mental hospital. Hooray for spring! This is just the kind of light, springy story I was hoping for after spending the past month in the sewer. I'm sorry. I don't know what the weather was like where you were this week, but it just turned spring here this week, and everyone's getting out of the house for the first time all winter, getting that fresh air, feeling happy, thinking about projects they can do, and then I come inside to watch Y&R at night, and now I'm trapped in a mental hospital. Dang. I mean, I guess I can make some kind of springy connection between daylight savings time and Sharon and Phyllis waking up in each other's arms, because they certainly had to spring forward out of that situation. I mean, that was good. That was good. No denying it. No mixed feelings about it. But the whole rest of it all, I'm sorry. I have mixed feelings about. And I mean, I feel like you guys got to bear with me, because I just got to get it out of the way. I have to say it and get it out, and then maybe I'll be able to work past it. Because my biggest criticism of this whole thing really, really does simply boil down to timing. I mean, when Tuesday's show opened up and Sharon and Phyllis were alone, kidnapped, stashed inside of this escape room, no lie, I groaned out loud. I was like, no, seriously, not again. I cannot watch Sharon kidnapped for another month. It's just kidnapping exhaustion. Sharon was literally saved from a long stint of being kidnapped 2 weeks ago. And now here she is again. And she even said, like, can my life not just be normal for 2 weeks? I agree. Can we just not have a kidnapping for 2 weeks? But the thing is, I mean, that's really my only criticism of the whole thing, but it's a really big one, because I hope it's not going to end up preventing me from enjoying what is otherwise actually a pretty clever idea. First of all, right off the bat, toss Phyllis and Sharon in a room together, and that's just rife with fun. I mean, it's fun to watch them fight over everything. I love that part. I love watching them bicker over whether or not to drink the water. Phyllis just needing her coffee, and fighting over who's gonna get what part of the couch. That part is so great. Watching them, kind of try to work together to figure out these dumb clues. Phyllis is constantly angry, and Sharon is constantly trying to rein her in. I mean, it's great. It's all totally due to, the history of the characters, but also how incredible the two actresses are. There's so much history to play on here. There's got to be a practically infinite amount of entertainment to be had at just locking them in a room together and saying, go at it. But there have been moments of poignancy too, really digging down into the heart of why they don't like each other. I particularly liked the moment when Phyllis woke up in there with the assumption that Sharon is the one who got them there, that Sharon had lost it again and had kidnapped her. And I thought Sharon had this really great moment of defending herself where she said, you know what, Phyllis, half of the time you treat me like I'm a little nothing, and then the other half of the time you treat me like I'm some grand schemer. So which is it? And I just really liked that moment. I thought it really made sense. And there have been a couple of moments like that that just feel really powerful and really insightful about the two women and the history of their rivalry and why. And, you know, I think that the concept of ultimately letting Phyllis and Sharon fight it out, get all the ammunition spent, and then only to come to realize that they have no choice but to work together to get out of there. Although, who knows? I mean, I don't know. Are they working together or are they working against each other? I just don't know. The torture room part of it, I don't like the game part of it. I don't like the game and the game master. It's weird. I like the set. It looks like they maybe upcycled the set from the Genoa City Memorial Hospital, because I could swear the tiling that's along the walls looks sort of similar to that. So if that's the case, I think that was a really creative use of a set. I like looking at all the old furniture in there. It's an interesting set to look at. I mean, they've got some board games, so at least in the space in between trying to fight for their lives, Phyllis and Sharon can play Candyland. Candyland in between torment sessions. But the loud horn has got to go. I mean, right here, right now, we need to get word out fast to the show and let them know the horn has got to go. Because every single time that horn starts blowing, I get, for real, annoyed. Like, no joke, irritating. It is fingernails on the chalkboard to me. I watch Y&R at the end of the day. I've just had a relaxing shower. I am looking for some easy viewing. I cannot have that horn blasting in my face for the next month every night, okay? The music, the loudspeaker, these elements are just not appealing to me. Again, I feel like it's so creepy. I would have had an easier time accepting it maybe at the end of the year, closer to Halloween. The timing is just all wrong. The components are there. The entertainment elements are there. The timing's just wrong, and I'm exhausted. The disguised, computerized, robotic voice, it's cringy. And every time I hear it, I just feel embarrassed. But nevertheless, I feel obligated to theorize on who it could be. Who is it? Who is it? I mean, it could be anyone. Phyllis and Sharon are being forced to answer these riddles in a play for your life game. And the very first clue was July 22nd, 2013, which was the day of the MS charity ball where Sharon and Phyllis fought. I remember Phyllis tumbling down the stairs, and I believe, I've done no research on this, but I sort of think that was the last that Michelle Stafford was on the show. I think she went down the stairs, and then Phyllis kind of went into a coma and was off screen for a long time until the role was reprised by Gina Tognoni. And wouldn't it be kind of a fantastic twist if the mystery voice was a new character being played by Gina Tognoni, or some kind of, like, I don't know, weird twin twist or something? I mean, that would be interesting, wouldn't it, if she showed her face after all this time? I don't know. Maybe it's that. But the other clue was something about the chocolate fountain. They got into a cat fight in the chocolate fountain. Why am I not seeing flashbacks of this? I feel like I should have seen at the very least, it was definitely Michelle Stafford and Sharon Case in the stairwell. So I don't know why I'm not seeing flashbacks. But I hope the twist is fun. It has to be someone who has known both of these women for a while, or at least someone who has done their research. It almost seems like it could be a weird, obvious twist if somehow Heather was behind this and she's going to be revealed as alive and she's somehow plotting revenge. It also feels like it would be too obvious to be Ian Ward or Jordan since they just left the show. I don't know. It could be a wild card from the past. I can't help noticing that we're in a mental institution. That kind of gives me the thought of Patty Williams, or even Dr. Emily, Jack's ex-girlfriend. I mean, it could be either of them, but I mean, could it be someone who's connected to Jack or to Nick? The connection, getting to the root of the feud between Sharon and Phyllis, as they both acknowledged on Friday, is really very much about Nick. So could it be someone connected to Nick? I don't know. And how long are we going to have to wait to find out? How long will the game continue? How long will I be forced to endure the horn? The disembodied voice forced Sharon and Phyllis to phone home this week, gave them little matching S&P salt and pepper shaker phones for them to call home to reassure everyone in their lives that they're fine. They've been forced into calling home and saying, I'm fine, so that they can have a chance to continue to play this game for their lives. I don't know. I think this is going to be a while. I feel like they're going to be trapped in here for a long time still, and I don't know. Am I going to end up... Is my exhaustion going to fade and I will eventually adapt? I just have to get it out this first week. Just let me get it out for the first week. Because good or bad, after that, I'm sure it will give us plenty to talk about. And honestly, I will say that I can really, really see that the writers are trying to do something interesting and creative here. And I like the idea. The whole thing has a very Truman Show kind of setup to it. Because in a way, it almost feels like we, the audience, are the kidnappers. Like we are the ones who are holding Sharon and Phyllis hostage on a weekly basis, watching them on our screens for our entertainment. You pervs! Audra told Nate this week that she knows Holden. She knows him from LA, and he, in fact, saved her from a business meeting gone bad where I guess she was meeting with a group of guys who became less than gentlemanly with her. That's awful. And like, I can see it. I see it. I wasn't there. We didn't get a flashback, but I can see it and I can feel it and I don't like it. Nate seemed sort of mad at her for lying to him up until that part. And honestly, it's impossible for her to, I don't want to be mad at her after that, because feeling like you're going to a business meeting and then having it turn into, like, I'm envisioning it's something like a rapey scenario, that would definitely be a memory that I would have a hard time processing and definitely would not want to talk about. So it makes sense to me that she would kind of close her eyes and hope that Holden and the whole memory would just go away, because that's probably what I would do. But then she also revealed to Sally on Friday that they went on to have a relationship after that. She said that he's like risk taking, that he's a risky guy, and it was too much for her. Well then, good thing that you're dating Dr. Nate right now, because he's a real no risk, no excitement situation. Instead of being mad, Nate was completely accepting. In fact, he went in for a hug that she was not expecting, and it was so sweet. And the look on her face was just shocked. I think Audra was in some ways bracing herself for the end of her, at least potential end of her relationship with Nate. But he was very sweet, very understanding. And I think the idea is, well, if Holden saved Audra from something, then Nate will feel indebted to him. So any of the lingering bitterness over the Damian switcheroo can just be washed away, along with the rewrite that nobody saw coming. I also feel really happy that this is giving Audra some more complexity. It's giving her some more things to sink her teeth into. I really liked Audra's conversation with Sally on Friday, where she admitted to liking the feeling of having a family. She said Amy stays over at Nate's a lot now because of her health condition, and so there are some mornings where Amy and Nate and Audra are waking up together, and it feels like she has this family, and it's a sensation that she's never had before. And I thought that was so relatable, and it made so much sense, and it added this great layer of understanding to Audra and her position right now. Holden is kinda threatening this new sense of security that she has for the first time in her life. He is threatening her with his glaring sex eyes every time she turns around. I mean, that man is like glaring at her with sex rays. His sex ray eyes. Oh. And he's kind of creepy. I'm conflicted. I don't know about you, but it's kind of creepy, but then he's also kind of hot, and so I don't know what to really do with myself and my feelings for him. It's like, well, he's hot, but then he's creepy, so how do I feel? I'm not sure. Oh. But then he was wearing this fuzzy sweater on Friday. Somebody at the Y&R wardrobe department got a great deal on early spring fuzzy sweaters, because Holden had one and Daniel had one. It's a new fashion trend, all right? Hunky guys in fuzzy sweaters coming down the runway in Genoa City, spring 2025. Damian and Lily had a date, not date, this week. Total date, not a date. And I mean, aren't they a gorgeous looking couple? You gotta admit, they're gorgeous. And the chemistry is there. No doubt about it. I mean, they're already sharing their meat. I died when Lily reached over with her silverware onto his plate. You know her. Pretty soon she's going to be cutting his meat for him. That's Lily, all right. I mean, it was everything about Lily in one scene. Her reaching over that table with her silverware She's going to be cutting his meat before, she's going to be cutting his meat before we know it. And he goes, you know, my mom used to do that for me. And I thought, can you not ruin the sexiness right now by comparing Lily to your mother? Not hot. But I mean, it's actually completely hilarious that at a time like this, Damian can even have a woman on the brain. Like, his whole life just blew up. His mother is dying. He never knew his biological father. The father he thought was his father wasn't his biological father. He has this new brother now, and apparently he's got some business trouble back in LA, and he has the time and energy to be like, hey girl, let me tell you about this Pinot. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Lily can't wait to find out all about your Pinot. We'll get there. We'll get there. But what I need to know right now is, who is Alexander Dumas? Who do you work for, Damian? Who do you work for? Who's this mystery figure, and is there any way it's connected to the Sharon Phyllis kidnapping? Hey, Damian, what do you know about the Sharon and Phyllis kidnapping? Or Holden? I don't know. Because it's kind of disappointing that Damian is not as rich and powerful as we first were projected. But the mystery of Alexander Dumas holds so much promise. Victor has decided to officially stick his nose into this whole thing. Well, he's going to stick Michael's nose into it on his behalf. He told Michael to find out everything that he can find out about the connection between Damian and Alexander Dumas. But even Victor said, well, it could be Alexander could be one person, or he could be a group of people creating a shadow figurehead. But either way, I think it's awfully kind that Victor has decided that he owes it to Lily and to us to find all this out. In reality, I just feel like Victor is worried that there's some other savvy billionaire stalking his stomping grounds, and he's not going to have it. He's got to figure out who this is. But I would also like to think that Victor is looking out for Lily and Devon, and yeah, I guess Nate too, because of his respect for Neil. Even though that didn't stop him from screwing Lily over when it suited him, but we'll see. And just like that, I'm back in on Adam and Chelsea. Honestly, last week, or the week before, with the whole Valentine's Day dream, I was fine, but that didn't do much to move my needle. It was all about the dinner at the ranch. One dinner, really well done, loaded with romance and sentiment, and I'm back in. That's all it took. I loved it. I loved the lighting at the ranch. I loved the wine, the rose. I loved the simple fact that the chessboard had been moved to make room for dinner with the silver platters. That was right on. And by the way, I really feel like that table needs to be a dining table from now on. That's a perfect, cozy little nook, a little eatery nook right in front of the window. The chessboard is more Victor. Let's keep that table there. It feels right. But I also just loved imagining Adam in that giant chef's kitchen where cook is usually. It's probably massive. It's a chef's kitchen. All of the trimmings, and one guy is in there trying to make pasta and sauce from scratch, which is not easy to do if you've ever tried it. But apparently he was able to pull it off to Michelin level. I would say that's impressive. But he did cop out a little bit on the dessert. He said, I cannot make a cheesecake on top of pasta and sauce. even though making the cheesecake probably would have been way easier than making the pasta. But he improvised. He said, you know what? I'm just going to fly one in. Now that is romance. That is soap opera romance. Adam flew that cheesecake all the way in from New York City to Genoa City. He had somebody put that cheesecake on a plane, put a little seatbelt on it, read it the safety instructions, and then brought it to Genoa City. And then she didn't even eat it. She was too full from that tiny little plate of pasta. Gotta save it for breakfast. Okay, well, I'm not against cheesecake for breakfast. In fact, I fully support cheesecake for breakfast. But the man flew that cheesecake in from New York. Girl, let him see you eat it. That's all he wanted, was to watch that cheesecake go into your mouth and you couldn't give it to him. She did make up for it with the kiss, though. At first, he was just frozen like a deer. It was so funny. He didn't even kiss back. He just sat there. I'm pretty sure he was afraid to move, like probably afraid that if he made one false move, it was going to mess up the whole thing. But then, you know, it warmed up, and in the next episode, they definitely were getting more frisky, so much so that they had to call it off before it went any further. And I'm so happy for Adam. I feel especially happy for Adam because, you know, he acknowledged that there was more going on to the sex a long time ago and way before she did. And he's been wanting to get back together with Chelsea ever since. That whole dang storyline with Connor and the OCD was created just to get these two back together. And hallelujah, it's finally arrived. Gastronomic experience. Who said that mouthful? Gastronomic experience. If you want to know, you should go to yrchat.com to reveal that answer. Let's talk about Adam and Chelsea rekindling their romance. Russell says, I wasn't too excited about Chelsea and Adam dancing around. Will they get back together? But their first at-home dinner date was cute, sweet, and adorable. It feels fresher than I feared it would. Who knew Adam could cook pasta with cream sauce from scratch? They didn't. I could see the end scene kiss coming before the sultry background music started. I know, right? One dinner, and I'm on board too. There was nothing, you know, I was thinking it wasn't going to feel fresh too, but then it was fresh, just like that grated Parmesan on top of the pasta. Gary says it's surprising that Adam's dream is coming true just like he'd hoped. How does that happen? I know, right? That's quite a bit of irony. Adam had the dream, then it immediately came true. Where do I sign up? T. Nicole says, Adam's pasta made me think that out of all of the places in Genoa City where I would like to eat, I would love to have a drink and a cocktail at the Jazz Lounge. But I'd like to have takeout from Society and a fancy dinner at the Athletic Club during Christmas time with all the Christmas decorations. Ooh, a Christmas party at the Athletic Club sounds really good. Have you tried Society's breakfast burrito, T. Nicole? Because Holden says it is. Well, oh, how about this? Gary says, I'm relieved that Chelsea has been rescued from the town boar, Billy Abbott, and is back with Mr. Right. Yes. I mean, Billy Abbott is reserved to be fought over by Sally and Phyllis. Chelsea be gone. And I'm kind of glad about that. I thought it was interesting that Sally and Billy came back from Paris, and boy, Sally said, I think she literally said, I'm happier than I have ever been. And I thought, really? I don't know. The Sally and Philly's not the pairing for me. I am gonna keep trying, but when she said that, I thought, really? Happiest you've ever been? Happier than when you were with Adam? I don't know. I don't feel like they've been together that long, and I don't feel like the chemistry is that strong to where she would be happier than she's ever been. Well, Naomi says, welcome back, Audra. She was back to her sassy self greeting Billy and Audra. Or Sally. She looks at Billy with a flutter of the eyes and a little smile. He observes her with a knowing smile of acknowledgement, one player to another. I loved it. Yes. But, oh, gosh, you guys, we got to talk about some theories on who's behind this Sharon and Phyllis kidnapping. I want to start with Kamna because she has two theories who can be behind the game. Number one is Lucy. She's completely lost it and somehow connects the feud between Sharon and Phyllis to Heather's death and now wants them to reconcile. She is Sheila's granddaughter after all. I like that theory. You're right. She is Sheila's granddaughter and Daisy's daughter. That's a pretty decent theory, but what really, this one clicks with me, Kamna. Kamna's number two theory, Martin/Alan. Maybe he's fascinated by the feud and wants to watch them work it out from a psychological standpoint. It could be that Martin was posing as Alan, or Alan has this twisted side. I know, right? The mental hospital part of it feels like, I don't know, some kind of a clue. I like that one, Kamna. If that turns out to be the case, boy, you really could have hit on something there. Ron says this is probably a long shot, but while Sharon and Phyllis were sitting on the couch, I noticed the cardboard box behind them had AC written on it. Could that be Avery Clark, Phyllis's sister? She was engaged to Nick and was on the show in 2013. I always liked her, but the storyline with her just fizzled. This would be a heck of a return. I liked her too, Ron. I'd be happy to have Avery back. Boy, she's really off her rocker if this is what she's doing to get her way back in. Sherrod says, I don't feel that this could be Ian Ward. If memory serves, he was not in their lives during the infamous fall/push down the stairs in 2013 or at the time of the chocolate fountain fight. It would be huge, but could Y&R be bringing Drusilla Winters back? Remember, she fell or was pushed off a cliff by Phyllis when she was trying to break up a fight between Phyllis and Sharon, and she knows their history. This would be incredible and quite interesting. Dang doodly ding dang doong, Sherrod. If that's Drusilla, that would be so good. I was just thinking of her because the Gates premiered, and I saw the preview that came up before Y&R, and I noticed a couple of faces, and I was thinking, I wonder why Victoria Rowell's not involved in this. Maybe it's because she's already booked coming back to Y&R. Well, Dolores says, happy days are here again. Hooray that the writers have set a story around Sharon and Phyllis forced to be together and confront their mutual disdain for each other. It is compelling, well-timed, and an awesome use of these two talented ladies to come 360 degrees from their beginning moments that sealed their lives in constant conflict, as well as having many ugly confrontations. Sharon, Phyllis are kidnapped. Why? Regardless, they are, for the first time, made to rely on each other for their safety and shared desire to escape their prison. I love the friction turning to acceptance that their hate for each other is not as important as knowing that survival is dependent upon each other. I'm hooked and I can't wait to see the outcome and who has been capable to put all of this into motion. Oh, Dolores, that's just what I wanted to hear. That's just the breath of fresh positivity that I wanted to hear. Although I am going to put a poll on this week. I am wondering where everybody is landing on this new storyline. Was your initial reaction yay or nay? I'm curious. Go to yrchat.com. That's going to be our poll question this week. I want to know if this storyline is an instant hit with you or a little bit of a miss. Naomi says, Phyllis and Sharon are at odds, but yet bonding together in this weird setup. It's great viewing and good writing because I'm enjoying Sharon so much. Finally, she is more focused and clear-headed, and also if I were Phyllis or Sharon, I would be wishing I had a scrunchie to get my hair pulled back. I have to say, Naomi, I was noticing that Sharon and Phyllis both have similar hair. They both have the long hair that seems like it's kind of been, I don't know, serrated at the, right at the bang, like it kind of like stacks on its way down. They have the same haircut. And yeah, scrunchie, you would need that. I mean, if you're going to really be kidnapped, you would hope to have that somebody could at least put some products in there. I mean, whoever it was put the coffee in and a couple other creature comforts, water bottles, canned foods. Why not a scrunchie? A couple hair ties. But I also want to say about Sharon, I really thought she held her own pretty darn good because, I love Michelle Stafford. I think she's really funny all over the place. But the moment when they woke up in each other's arms, I feel like Sharon Case gave the look that really nailed the comedy. She went for it. The look on her face was it was comedy hilarity shock, like, ooh. I mean, the tone of it was, ooh. That's really, really good. She is definitely, I mean, I don't think of Sharon Case as much as comedic as I do Michelle Stafford. I see Michelle Stafford giving comedy week after week after week. Sharon is definitely more of a dramatic, in my mind, a dramatic character. But man, she's bringing some good comedy to the situation too. And yeah, you're right. It's good to see her being more stable. It's crazy. In this unstable situation, Sharon's kind of the stable one. Gary says, I can't believe that the electronic goon doesn't have pajamas for Sharon and Phyllis. Gary, I cannot believe that the electronic goon does not have matching pajamas for Sharon and Phyllis. Sharon's can have a little S on it. Phyllis's can have a little P on it. Like Laverne and Shirley. Russell says, the first thing I noticed was the hinges on the door inside of that room. That room looks like it's full of junk. They could probably find something to pry those hinge nails out and the door will fall right off. I also noticed the thermostat on the back wall was hanging by its cords after a commercial break. Continuity issue, apparently. They should stack some furniture and try for those windows. They're probably locked with wired glass, but at least check it out. Oh, that's a good, you guys are so good at coming up with ways to get out. Same thing with the sewer where 2 weeks ago. You guys were like, oh, she should have just done this or that. I'm like, duh. I don't think I could get out of the room. I mean, the stacking of the furniture you would think might be an easy thing to check out. Looks like Phyllis is trying to throw a chair through the window in the previews for next week. So I imagine they're going to try to take matters into their own hands. Stephen says, after the escape, it's time to end this imbecilic feud forever. Phyllis and Sharon have so much in common. Faking death, sharing exes, committing the occasional homicide, and now a breakout experience. They should send a group text to everyone from the airport with proof of life selfie showing their boarding passes. The text will say, hi y'all, we just escaped captivity at Havenhurst Basement after being abducted again. We had such an amazing cathartic experience, celebrating our new friendship by leaving town for a while to go on a cruise. Love and kisses, Sharon and Phyllis. Oh my gosh, Stephen, please let Sharon and Phyllis just go on a cruise after this together. Is this going to change anything? Isn't that a great thought? After all this, will Sharon and Phyllis end up being better friends or bigger enemies? Well, last week I asked you guys who's going to come out on top of Kyle, Summer or Claire. 67% 61% think Summer will be the victor. Naomi says, I voted Summer just because we have the long-running Kyle Summer saga that's been going on forever. I'd like to see Claire give Summer a good battle and then realize Kyle loves being caught between two women and walk away. Tony says, oh, I think Summer will reunite with Kyle later, but I think Claire's gonna put up a fight, and I don't expect it to be a fair one. She will have something up her sleeve, as would Victor or Jordan. She will get what she wants. Kyle. For a while. I love that, Tony. Yeah, you know, Claire has definitely proven that she is willing to fight. So, I don't think we can count her out completely. Robin says, I'm rooting for Summer, and I think that she will definitely get Kyle back. She has the sex appeal. Not feeling much from Claire. Seems like she would get boring fast. Mean Claire will emerge back, and Summer might get pregnant after a Kyle weak moment, and then Claire triangle rivalry will go on and on. Ooh, a pregnancy. Well, let's see. Let's take a look at some comments. Well, okay, so Beyond the Gates. Naomi says, Beyond the Gates sure has some beautiful sets, and we get a hospital. Every corner of the sets are well lit. Such a change from Y&R. I actually prefer the lighting on Y&R. Not every square inch is illuminated in most homes and restaurants. Okay, so Beyond the Gates, I did not watch it. I saw just the commercial before. I'm interested, but I just know ultimately I don't have the time to commit to it. And if I was going to pick up another soap, I do love Bold and the Beautiful, and it's shorter. I don't know how long is Beyond the Gates. Is it Beyond? Beyond the Gates? Beyond the Gates. It does look intriguing. I mean, it's really clearly, it knows what it is. It knows what it is, and I like what it is. So I know I would enjoy it if I had the time to watch it. It's daily for a whole hour, I think. I saw some comments. Seems like it's been positive. I think Sherrod said they have something like 27 different sets, so it's expansive. They're filming in Georgia, it was said. So there's some budget in here, I guess. I'm sure it's beautiful. I should at least watch the first couple episodes. Maybe tonight. Diana says, why is it every time Sharon goes missing, she is wearing a sparkly top? She shouldn't wear them anymore if she knows what's good for her. Sparkly tops equal kidnapping. Clearly, Diana, clearly. I mean, just stop wearing the sparkly tops and the problem will stop happening. It's a pattern. I bet Sharon just wishes just once she could get kidnapped in something more comfortable. Phyllis, too, after this. She had on those boots. Naomi says she'll be glad she wore the jeans with the sparkly top. She really does need to hire a bodyguard because she's in constant peril. What's next? Maybe tie her to the railroad tracks, and on Cliffhanger Friday we can see the train conductor and engineer blasting the horn, hitting the brakes as they see her ahead. Yeah, really. What's after this? Tied to the train tracks. That's the next logical step for sure. Oh, and we'll end on this. Tina Cole says, I love pasta, and I watched the Y&R. I watched Y&R while I was hungry. I would have loved to try some of Adam's pasta with the grated Parmesan on top. Yum, yum, yum. And Sharon W. says, I would be happy to just sit at the table and watch Adam eat his own plate of pasta. See, now we're talking. That's what I'm saying about Chelsea and the cheesecake. He just wanted to watch her eat it in the same way that you just wanted to be there to watch him eat his pasta. Oh my goodness. Well, hey, on the topic of meals that we'd like to have in Genoa City, fantasy meals from Genoa City. I think you guys should leave me some comments this week to let me know what restaurant you would like to go to, what meal you would like to have, and most importantly, who would you like to have it with? Okay, everybody. That's a Y&R Chat. I hope that you had fun. I certainly did. If you want, you can go to yrchat.com to leave some comments, read some comments, see the polls, the quotes, the photos, all that good stuff is right there. GenoaCitySoap.com if you have time for a bonus podcast. But if not, you know what? We're going to come back next Sunday. We're going to see where we are in the crazy saga of the escape room. I'm going to do my best to relax and go with it. I got all of my objections out at the top, and I think now I'm just going to settle back and try to enjoy the show. That is what we're here for after all, right? Okay. Everybody, I love you. I hope that you have a really good week, and I hope spring is springing wherever you are. Okay. I will see you next week. Bye.